Alright, so if you're wondering if the new Tomb Raider movie is worth watching or not, well, the answer is it really depends on how much you like the games, because that will definitely determine how much you enjoy this movie. So 2018 Tomb Raider is a reboot of the Tomb Raider movies, which is based on the latest reboot of the video games. And this particular movie takes a lot from the 2013 reboot that was done very well. The game is actually really good if you've played it. Actually, both the games are pretty good. And the movie doesn't really follow the game's story, but what it does, it takes elements of the game's story, mechanics, and environment, and puts them and sprinkles them over the movie quite nicely. So if you've played the game, you will enjoy this a lot more because you'll be able to spot all these references from the game, you know, from the way like Lara is dressed to the way that some of the obstacles, like I think if you've seen the trailer where she falls off the waterfall and then you have the plane and then you have like the parachuting thing, all of those are sequences from the 2013 game, which make their way into the movie, and it's not quite connected the same way it is in the game, but in the movie they managed to connect it quite well within the whole narrative. Speaking of the narrative, the story isn't very good. It's quite predictable, doesn't leave a lot of room for like a huge twist or anything interesting, and honestly most of you guys would be able to see where the plot is going from like a mile away. But even though the story isn't very good, it's still enough to keep you sort of entertained, and at no point was I ever bored during the movie, so that's good. But I think a huge portion of that also has to do with the fact that Alicia Vikander does a very good Lara Croft, and she's probably, in my opinion, more convincing than the old Angelina Jolie Lara Croft. Everyone else does okay. Daniel Wu's kind of cool as this dude that helps Lara get onto the island of Yamatai, but his role isn't exactly massive in the movie. So it does start off kind of slow. It has to establish, you know, the backstory, because this movie does have to work with people who are not familiar with Tomb Raider or who Lara Croft is. From there, when it starts to pick up, that's when it really just doesn't stop from there until the end, and that's when the movie is most enjoyable. So the first act is a bit weak, but the second and third make up for it. So there's some pretty cool action sequences in this movie, including all the stuff that I mentioned earlier about the airplane and the waterfall. Not too much use of shaky cam, so most of the time you do know what is going on within a scene. And overall the action is not bad, but at the same time it's really nothing too unique or special that hasn't been done before. And again, it does take elements from the games here and there, including some puzzles with regards to the tomb they're opening. The movie is called Tomb Raider, so there will be some tombs open, well, a tomb. Some puzzle stuff sprinkled in there and the elements from the game. So all that was cool to watch, but again, this is why I said your enjoyment of this movie will really depend on how much you enjoy the games. So if you enjoy the games, you will probably enjoy it a lot more just because of the fact that those video game elements are in the movie. But as someone who doesn't play the games, you might just find this okay. And honestly, that is what this movie is. It's okay, it's not great, but it's not bad. I would describe it as a nice background movie to put on while you're doing something else, and occasionally you look at the screen and be like, ah, that was a cool sequence, you know? Not as bad as other video game movies have been. Definitely one of the better ones, maybe even the best one, but still nothing to you know, write home about. I mean, I found myself pretty entertained, but then again, I knew what I was going into. I played the games, I played both the games. I enjoy the games for what they are, and I enjoyed seeing all these references to the games being put in the movie. And I just enjoy seeing Alicia Vikander beat people up and shoot people with arrows. That's pretty sick. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the 2018 Tomb Raider. If you've seen it, I would like to know what you guys think about it. So leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.